It was one of those gray New York mornings where the sky looked like it hadn't decided whether to rain or cry. Inside the 96th Street subway station, crowds bustled by like waves crashing against each other, faces half hidden behind scarves, earbuds, and exhaustion. Clara Jennings, 32, stood silently on the platform, her hands stuffed into the oversized pockets of her coat. Her job interview hadn't gone well, again. That made 6 rejections in 2 months. She had quit her marketing job after burnout nearly landed her in the ER, believing she'd take a short break to rediscover herself. But rediscovery, it turned out, didn't pay rent. She glanced down at her boots, wore at the edges, and sighed. Then she heard it, a small sob. Clara turned, scanning the crowd. At first, she couldn't see anyone crying. But then she spotted him, half hidden behind a metal pillar, a little boy no older than 5, sniffling and clutching an empty red mitten. He was alone. Clara hesitated. In New York, people often walk past things like this. They assume someone else would handle it, that maybe it wasn't their business. But Clara couldn't ignore it. Not today. She knelt down slowly. "Hey there, buddy. Are you okay?" The boy looked up, his eyes round and filled with tears. "I lost it." "What did you lose?" she asked gently. He held up his mitten. "And Mr. Lion. He was in my hand and then gone." Clara scanned the platform. "Your toy lion?" He nodded. "He's my best friend." Clara's heart broke a little. "Let's find Mr. Lion together, okay?" The boy nodded slowly, wiping his nose with his sleeve. "What's your name?" "Ethan." "I'm Clara." "I'm glad to meet you, Ethan." They began searching the platform together, near benches, under trash bins, even asking passers-by if they'd seen a small stuffed lion. Most people ignored them or offered a polite shrug. The minutes ticked by. "No, Mr. Lion. Do you know where your mom or dad are?" Clara asked. Ethan sniffled. "We were on the train. I dropped him when we got off. Mommy said stay put and went to ask someone. So she wasn't far." Clara took Ethan's hand. "Then let's wait right here together. She'll be back soon." But Ethan was still upset. What if Mr. Lion is scared? What if he thinks I left him? Clara paused. "You know what? Let's make a sign." She pulled a notebook and pen from her purse, remnants of job interviews, and scribbled, "Lost toy, small lion. If found, please return to Ethan." Then she drew a quick cartoon lion with a sad face. They stood near the exit, holding up the sign. People smiled. Some even stopped to help. One woman suggested checking with the MTA's Lost and Found booth upstairs. Clara glanced down at Ethan, who looked hopeful for the first time. So up they went. At the booth, the worker, a tired-looking man named Luis, listened patiently. He disappeared into a back room. Then, moments later, he returned. In his hands was a small, slightly scruffy lion with one button eye and a threadbare tail. "Is this him?" Ethan gasped, "Mr. Lion." The boy ran forward and clutched the toy to his chest, tears turning into laughter. Luis grinned. "A conductor found him 2 stops down and dropped him off here." Clara turned to Luis. "Thank you. Seriously, you just made this little guy's whole world." Before Luis could respond, a frantic voice echoed down the corridor. "Ethan! Ethan!" A woman appeared, breathless, her coat flapping behind her. "Mommy!" Ethan cried, rushing into her arms. She looked up at Clara, eyes brimming. "You stayed with him?" Clara nodded. "We found his lion, too." The mother hugged her son tight, then turned to Clara. "Thank you. Thank you so much. I was terrified." Clara smiled softly. "I'm just glad he's safe." They talked briefly before the mother took Ethan home, waving one last time before disappearing into the crowd. And just like that, Clara was alone again on the platform. But something felt different. For the first time in weeks, months, really, she didn't feel lost. That night, Clara couldn't stop thinking about Ethan and Mr. Lion, about how a small moment, pause and a help, had lit something inside her she hadn't felt in a long time. Compassion, connection, purpose. The next morning, Clara woke up with a spark. She didn't polish her resume. She didn't search for jobs in corporate marketing. Instead, She opened a blank page on her laptop and wrote, "Small kindnesses, one act at a time." It was an idea, a blog, maybe a movement. Clara spent the week wandering the city, offering help to people. An old man who needed groceries carried, a college student who couldn't afford his textbooks and found Clara organizing a small book drive, a woman whose therapy dog needed walking during long hospital shifts. She documented it all, photographing their smiles with permission, telling their stories. She called it micro-miracles, everyday act of humanity that often go unnoticed. Her posts gained traction. Then a news site picked up her story. Out-of-work New Yorker turned job hunt into joy hunt. Suddenly, her inbox was flooded. Messages from teachers, nurses, retired veterans, students, mothers. People who wanted to do the same, who had stories of their own, who thanked her for reminding them that goodness still existed. A foundation offered her a grant to expand the blog into a nonprofit storytelling platform. Schools invited her to speak about empathy. One corporation, whose job she had once desperately applied to, now asked to consult on community outreach. And amidst all the emails and excitement, one small note arrived in a yellow envelope. No return address. Inside was a child's drawing of a lion holding a heart. On the back, in crooked handwriting, it read, "Thank you for finding Mr. Lion. I'm not scared anymore. I want to help people too someday." "Ethan," Clara cried, not out of sadness, out of something else. Something she hadn't felt in a long time. Home. 2 years later. Clara stood at the front of a packed auditorium. Behind her was a screen with the logo of her now global platform, Small Kindnesses. She looked out over hundreds of faces, volunteers, donors, everyday people who had chosen to say yes to compassion. Her heart swelled. She began her talk not with numbers or metrics, but with a story. "There was once a little boy who lost his toy lion in a subway station," she said, smiling. "And when I knelt down to help him, I thought I was helping him find something precious. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't have known, was that he helped me find something even more precious. He helped me find me." The audience sat silent, rapt. Clara paused, then spoke the words that had become her signature. Kindness doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes it's just staying when everyone else walks away. Sometimes it's helping a child find a lost toy. But always it matters. Always. As the room erupted into applause, Clara felt a deep, grounding peace settle in her chest. She had lost her path once, but she'd found it again in a subway station beside a child over a forgotten lion.